Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to our Let's Play of Siralim Ultimate. We're still in the early stages of this Let's Play, but I think it's time to start picking things up a little bit, and I think we're gonna try and get 2 realms done in this episode. We'll see how it goes. Always hard to tell in a game where there's so much randomness to deal with. Before we get going though, there are a couple things I need to do. First thing is, I think I'm gonna just raise the music volume slightly. This game does have very good music, and I'm still trying to find the right balance that puts the music at a level that's high enough to appreciate it, but not so high as to be distractingly loud. The next thing is I want to make a slight change to one of the spells that I have, is the Star Pact spell. I want to remove potency based on health, and instead I want to add defense penetration. There we go. The reason I removed potency based on health is because I'll pop down here and I'll show you this artifact that I have equipped on my Animatus, who also has that Star Pact spell. If we look at Bloodseeker, specifically the rank 80 bonus, which we have because we've gotten all the way to rank 100, that means 50% of the potency is based on health. And yes, 67% makes it better, but the marginal bonus going from 50 to 67 isn't going to be that high compared to, I think, damage penetration, which is useful if you have to cast it earlier on. So that's my rationale for doing that. We'll see how it goes. Next thing, I remember last episode I said I talked about the Rune of Prophecies. I think what I'll do is I'll talk about it at the end of this episode. I'm hoping that we get really lucky and we hit all of these last things. Basically, I'm sure you can guess that we need to find one more Pandemonium statue, which is those little devil-looking statue things. We need to find a treasure golem, who we haven't seen yet in this series. They are pretty rare, along with dumplings. And we need to complete a hunt mission. What is the status of our hunt mission? We're quite far from finishing the hunt mission. So you know what? We'll see what sort of progress we make in this episode. Anyway, now let's get going. But before we get going, I will pop into the Amalgam Gardens quickly. We went there last episode, and I'm not going to redo the entire thing, although I'll take a bit of loot, and before I go into that, because there could be a fight in there that kills us. The reason I'm back in this place is I didn't talk to the god properly. I just blazed through it, I donated, and then left. What I'm going to try to do from now on is, since it's the first time in the series that we're going to be looking at these realms, I will slow down and I'll show you the dialogue properly for talking to the gods. But the thing is, with this god, maybe it doesn't matter that much, because he speaks in some undecipherable language. His name is strange as well. Murgo, something like that, the god of fusion. I'm not even going to attempt to vocalize what he's trying to say there, but thankfully the game has subtitles of a sort trying to explain what he probably means. We assume that he's offering warm greetings and asking if we'd like to make a donation, and while we are here, I guess we'll make a donation. He says something in response, which once again we're left to assume what it means, and we assume that he's grateful. So I'll do that, and next, since it's right here, I'm going to go to this nether realm, see what's inside. And as luck would have it, we find these dwarves. This is going to take a bit more time, but I might as well play some games with them. So these dwarves, you can spend your tickets to play games of chance, and if you win, which is entirely based on luck, you get some small rewards. I'll play Kino. You could spend a long time agonizing over which things you pick, but I just go the quickest possible way and just pick everything in a row from left to right and then right to left for another 5. And hey, look, we won some small amounts of things. The one thing I will mention is the loot you get, because you get the special currency called notoriety and also a bit of loot. The loot is actually scaled based on your realm item bonus. At least that's what it looks like, because you get way more loot from gambling with the dwarves in this special event when you go to a realm with a high loot bonus, compared to when you're at your castle. The one we just played with right now, the slots one, that's such a big scam. I almost never win anything with that one. This next one is Siralim. This one's good because you're guaranteed to get at least something. Look, we got a tiny amount of granite, a tiny amount of essence, a tiny amount of power. The worst rewards, and some irrelevant item modification things. And ooh, we go to a random location, which this is usually what you want, a bit of notoriety, because that's the special currency that you can use to get the special items that the dwarves sell in the castle. So scratch cards. We're guaranteed to get something because we've gotten three of a kind. We can get even better if we got a 4th 250, but you know what? 250 by itself is fine, so we're gonna leave. And now we're just gonna leave this realm. It's gonna be a bit painful, but we're just gonna forfeit, because we want to do 2 different realms. We lost our fortune, but fortune doesn't matter that much because it just improves your rate of finding basic currencies, and currencies are like we have enough of them, and it doesn't affect your item finding, which is the real main thing. So I think we're just gonna go straight into the next realm, which is the Arachnid Nest. Item bonus is 303. You know what? I'll accept it. I could randomize for more, but it would take a lot of rolls to get something that's significantly better than 303. So let's just go with this. Let's see how this turns out. Okay, our god altar is close to us, but ooh, it's a huge open area to the north. We've got to be a bit careful there. We now are talking to Regalis, the goddess of poison. She asks us to come closer and feel the warmth of her embrace. Somehow that sounds pretty sinister, but you know, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's give her a donation as well. I'll have to give you something extra special in return for your generosity. She licks her lips in an extremely unseductive way, making a noise not unlike a hound chewing beef. Wow, that is some description, isn't it? But we got a bit of favor with her, and before we go deeper, let's see what we're dealing with in this realm. Enemies have extra health, and extra defense, and good luck. They're also strong against death, which 2 of our party members are death, so not... Well, our animatus is death. Like, our main party member is death, so that could cause problems, but hopefully we'll be fine. Let's just see what sort of a showing we can make. Ooh, we get 200 favor for lighting these candles. Always happy whenever I see them. We should interact with this to get some nice buffs. Agile and leeching, not the best. Could have gotten better ones for sure. Interacting with this one has... let me show you. Well, she's right there. I guess we can just talk to her again. Okay, that person is coming after us. But let's ask her to show us the list of buffs she's giving us. Look at buff number 5, victims. It's hard to make out because the icons are smaller, but victims were that, you know, cocoon type thing we saw to the top left earlier. They will grant us a health boost. Not only that, but if we look on the next page, if you look at blessing number 30, they have a 5% chance to spawn a dumpling. So this is a great place to come if you want to farm dumplings. Okay, this is a rough start. But if we survive, we could do quite well. Now here's the question, do we attack? Do we use our macro? Let's actually attack. Yeah, these guys are extremely tanky. But we got some corpse explosions going on. Okay. You are going to manually cast reincarnation. And we'll see how this goes. Again, a rough fight, but they were also nemesis creatures. So they were gonna be a bit tougher than usual, but still. We're not gonna have an easy time of it in this area. Alright, let's keep going. Oh, let's interact with this. Okay, this means this is a mimic. We also get our 10% health, which is great. What sort of a paragon are you? It's hard to tell because when you play on realm instability, or like high levels of, I think even low levels of realm instability, the enemies will be fused with other monsters, which also changes their colors. So it can be hard to tell what they are. We never got a chance to see what they were because somehow we never got a chance to move. But as long as we win, I don't mind if that happens. Necessarily. What we'll do is we'll start out with an attack. We'll try and take out this Urulos. I don't like these people at all. Ooh. Just barely managed to take him out. Just barely. Okay, let's keep going. God, they're so tanky. The combination of extra health and extra defense is really painful to deal with. I just hope that our Centaur Duelist can survive, because he's our second big... well, he's alive for now. Okay, yeah, he's our other main damage dealer. His Fury Swipes didn't kill anybody, but did some good damage. Let's take out... let's attack this Toxic Leech. Because that unit was next in the move order. So I was like, if nothing else, we'd like to take him out. But, you know, we did not only take him out, but then Corpse Explosions took care of the rest of them. Okay. Ooh, hey, look at that. A dumpling. Oh, and a whole bunch of things happened. And also, the chest was a mimic. I'm actually going to let the dumpling move away from us a little bit, because we're not ready to fight it just yet. We would like to get some buffs stacked up. Okay. This is what I usually like to see when I interact with the cocoons. 3 possibilities can happen. You either just straight up get treasure, or you get attacked, or you get a mimic fight. And my least favorite thing is if you get into a combat from those things, because the rewards for that are pretty low. Enemies are blighted, and snared is good. This is going to help us against the dumpling. I'll interact with these, even though sometimes they can Sometimes they can be fights. Right, let's see. Okay, these enemies are seemingly easier for us to take down. Okay, so we don't need to be too worried about getting into this specific kind of fight. Okay, so sometimes I think the lore behind this is these eggs are scattered around, and we're not destroying them when we interact with these objects, we're kind of collecting them and safeguarding them. But in this case, as Regalis says, these creatures must have eaten her poor children. So I guess somebody had already gotten to those eggs before we did. Alright. Now the tough thing is, it's going to be hard to remember which chests were mimics and which chests are not mimics. Alright. Gargoyles are usually... yeah, usually good targets to go after. We're gonna be fine in this combat. I think in general... Oof. Okay, we killed one of them, so corpse explosions will kick in, take everyone else out. 2 enemies left, but that's not counting the dumpling, so you can't use that to rely on to let you know if there's a dumpling or a treasure golem on the map. You will actually have to look around. But if a dumpling or a treasure golem gets spawned by a special event, you will be informed by the game. But sometimes there will be one just in the map wandering around from the start. Those ones you'll have to find yourself. Ooh, look at how tanky these guys are. Aye. Okay, well, with all the turns we're getting before them, and with our Centaur duelist moving, I'm sure we'll be able to take them down before they get a chance to go. And surely our duelist can end it just with his Fury swipes? No, no. Not quite, but I think... yeah. Now we should be able to do it. There we go. Fantastic. And the thing, like, with these objects that give you... like, either they just straight up give you favor, or they have a chance of spawning combat. If they give you combat, I think pretty much always the reward you get will be higher than if you didn't have combat. The one exception is those cocoons, where if they give you combat, it's not as good of a reward as if you get the other event where the person thanks you for saving them and then rewards you. I think the bat is going to be a good target for us to attack. Star Pact also triggered from our item. Corpse Explosion has also triggered. These guys are so tanky. Fortunately for us, they're tanky, but that's the extent of it. Like, a lot of their extra properties were wasted on things like strong against death, strong against chaos. I'm not too worried about those. And like less stat loss, which we're not even using in our build. Okay, let's carry on going this way, this way, this way. And we only have one more wandering enemy, and this is going to be our master. Right, and enemies are poisoned and bleeding, not the greatest. Sleeping will help us, it'll help us get turns before they do. Alright, let's just attack this Smog Lord. Oh, I don't even think we're gonna be able to kill him. Oh, barely managed to kill him, but once again, the tankiness of the enemies is really... It's really apparent. Alright, let's keep going. We're gonna get through, because we are taking them down at a reasonable rate. Unfortunately, our Fury swipes all hit the wrong target. So let's just use our macro, try and whittle. We just need one of them to die, and then corpse explosions are gonna finish it. And if somehow that didn't work, our animators would be able to launch another 5-punch volley. But no, corpse explosions did indeed finish it for us. Before we start... Okay, so I think these two chests were mimics. So let's leave them alone for now. Alright. Okay, so far, so good. This is what I wanted. Our last buff. We get more defense and we're invisible, which is great. Invisibility wears off if you do certain actions, but it's good to have at the start of combat because it stops the enemies from kind of dogpiling you, or it forces them to do something else like, you know, dispel before they can then start targeting you. Here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna go after you first. You're snared on top of everything else, so we're gonna start off with just a 5-punch volley. Oh, we did, almost no damage. Okay, so because he's snared, he has a chance to be sent to the bottom of the timeline. And luckily that did proc. So as you can see, despite our animators having moved, the dumpling is still behind our animators. So now that we know that this is the tankiness we're dealing with, 3 million health and an absurd amount of defense, we know that we're gonna have to use our macro to buff our animators and then hope that our second round of punches can kill him off. And this time I used the macro. The reason I used my macro is, well, let's inspect my unicorn because it has the same reincarnation spell setup that the Rift Dancer has. So you can't see the modifications I've put on the spell gem, but if I cast reincarnation via the spell gem, the non-ethereal version, it has one enchantment on it, which means it'll cast twice. So it'll use up 2 charges instead of one, but then it'll kill, it'll go, oh, I messed up badly. I was trying to inspect, but instead I skipped my turn. Oh my, I think I just might have just thrown this fight. But what I was trying to show you was, if my unicorn vivifier had cast their reincarnation the way I was trying to, it would have cast twice, it would have killed the Dreadwhite twice, the buffs would have applied to the animators twice. Okay, let's just hope against hope that somehow this works. Okay, we were able to buff enough that we killed the dumpling. That was an awful, awful misclick. Okay, now we can end this realm very easily by finding one more scroll, but before we do that, I want to fight this master. And let's see what we're dealing with. if all the creatures are leeches, their leeching buff lasts forever and deals heals 300 more. That is completely counteracted by the fact that they're blighted. Completely counteracted. So that's good for us. I think I'm going to start off with a 5-punch combo against Mr. Leech Digger in this corner. Unlikely to kill them. These master fights are often a lot stronger than your regular trash mobs indeed. Just took down about half of the health, which isn't great, but now we can use the macro. As you can see, it cast twice, doing a bit of damage, but more importantly, buffing all of our people. Oh, Archangel's Blessing is a fantastic thing to have proc for us. I think we're fine. Hard to see what kind of damage you're doing because the background is so dark and it's hard to see the enemy health, but I think we've just won. We have, yeah, I was gonna say, we have more corpse explosions because I counted how many had gone by and we definitely had more to go. We are now level 4 in Leech Mastery, which means we're better when fighting leeches, and also we are better if we have leeches in our party, which we don't, but if we did, it would be good for us. Now, where the heck? Oh, is it right there? I was gonna say, where is this last scroll? I think it's right here. There we go. We get the Realm Quest, we get a bit of Piety, and some other good stuff. No rare items. No big deal. Now, I almost don't even want to fight these mimics, but like, you should never leave treasure just lying around. Okay, how are we gonna do this? What we'll do is we'll start off with arbitration, take away all of your buffs, and it's gonna take 2 rounds to kill you regardless, so I'm just gonna start buffing us in the meantime. And maybe we can buff enough that the Centaur Duelist can kill you, but highly unlikely with all the tankiness buffs that enemies have got going on in this map. It's very much gonna be down to the Animatus and the 5-punch combo to carry us through this fight. We'll even do one more round of buffing via the macro, and this should be enough to kill you. There we go. Knocked out. KO. Thank you very much. Oh, and don't forget to actually open the chest after you kill the Mimic, because you don't automatically do that. I am sure that in the hours that I've played this game, I've left many chests unopened by accident, just assuming that winning the fight itself is enough, but no. You actually have to open the chest at the end. Alright. Some tiny resources from those items, and this is the second Mimic. Once again, you're invisible, which means we can't attack you, but we can steal your buffs. And we can steal your buffs. And once again, it's gonna be down to our Animatus to land the big hits, because nobody else really has the attack power to really put a dent in enemies when they have this level of tankiness. Alright, once again, I think... Oh no, this guy is extra super tanky. Took the 5 punches, took the hits from Bloodseeker, and it took the extra blood bursts on top of that to kill him. And we got a few things from his chest. Now, I mentioned that I often, when playing alone, will summon divination candle enemies. In this situation, even if I was playing by myself, I wouldn't summon anything because I don't want to fight any extra creatures when things are this tanky. I want a map where we're killing things quickly, and only in that situation will I summon extra enemies. In this case, we're just gonna say no. I'll go back to Siralim. One thing I do want to do before I go out again is I want to check our spells. I want to see, is there an easy way for us to have a spell that ensnares the enemy? Because that would be a good thing to have when fighting dumplings and treasure golems. This is a death spell. This is a nature spell. Weak and snared, snared and poisoned. Or Ghoul's Grip, large amount of damage and snared. I think whichever one has the most charges is what we'll start out with, although these are almost the same amount of charges and it's poisoned on top of that, and poisoned is a bit of extra damage. Wait, what was the name of that spell? Oh, I've already forgotten. Let's quickly get this back. Germinate. 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 It was a nature spell. They're color-coded, so it's going to be a green spell. Germinate is right there, so we'll craft this, and then, of course, we will upgrade this, and let's enchant it with properties that make it useful. Let's make it generous, which means other people, even besides the one who has it equipped, will get a copy. Extra target in case we have, like, in case we want to use it in a regular combat, although it's unlikely that we will, and for the same reason, duration increased by X could be a good thing. And now we have to decide who gets to have it. I think I'm gonna give it to the Ebony Ent, because yeah, he's got some damaging spells, but not really used, not really getting their full potential out of him, like through him, because he's not gaining stats the way the Animatus and the Centaur are. So I'll remove one of these. I'll remove Snowstorm. I very rarely use it. It's too much randomness. It affects everyone, but only a 50% chance of inflicting Frozen, and in its place we'll put Germinate. And because he's already nature, we didn't have to use up one of the spell upgrade slots, changing its class to something else. He could use it straight away, and we could put an extra enchantment to make it even better. Okay, so now that we're done, let's go to our next realm, the Astral Gallery. Ooh, this is a... okay. This is a... oh, good item bonus, but I don't like the fourth modifier, extra traits. I normally love difficulty, but it just injects too much randomness into the game Like, each enemy with 4 extra traits, and some of the trait combinations are impossible to prepare for. Okay, this is an even better item bonus, and without that garbage property that we saw, at least not visible here. Hopefully it isn't one of the hidden ones. And with that hope in mind, let's go to the Astral Gallery. Let's walk up. Ooh, I see enemies straight away. Let's talk to Muse, goddess of creation. She says, "Greetings, welcome to my home. I hope you'll find the works of art in this realm to your liking. I made them all myself." Well, we'll keep that in mind. Let's also give you a donation. But now let's see if there's a way for us to... Okay, ooh, dodge this enemy. What I want to do is I want to get to the object. So if we continue down the hallway to the right, the object just to the left, that bust, if we interact with it, it'll give us a buff. And it'll debuff enemies. I wanted to do that before we got into fights. Just because, you know, it would make life a little bit easier. Okay. Enemies have a speed bonus, which means they're going to be moving before us. And we take more damage, and they have extra attack. So it's a bad time for us. But it also... because they have offensive bonuses and not defensive bonuses, it means battles are going to end quickly. Either they'll kill us or we'll kill them, but regardless of which of the two happens, it'll happen quick. Excuse me. And honestly, I prefer it that way. I prefer quick fights to long fights. And once again, a quick fight. A complete change of pace from the previous battle where we were painstakingly dragging the enemy health down little by little. Oh, they're taking extra damage because they're cursed. I was wondering why some of them were just dying before I expected them to. Oh. Took out our animators, but fortunately... Ooh, this is outstanding. Another card, a Twisted Carver from the Carver set. Let's actually take a look at what that does for us. It's the third one, so we need 5 to get the second bonus. But the first bonus, we deal more damage to chaos creatures, and this brings us a tiny bit closer to that second bonus. So already this has been a fantastically lucrative run for us. That's going to be our master enemy. That's going to be a very dangerous fight with these realm modifiers, but I'm actually looking forward to it. This guy's going to kill himself. Corpse explosions. Because they killed our Rift Dancer, unfortunately the explosion didn't trigger twice. But they brought a second explosion upon themselves anyway. Okay, this is gonna be really bad. How are we gonna do this? Let's start with just regular attacks. Oh, I forgot. He doesn't have the same defensive bonuses that he did last round. So it's not gonna be bad, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, I'm not gonna touch this broom just yet, because it's gonna spawn more enemies for us. And I really would like to collect a few more buffs for us and debuffs on the enemies before doing that. And as far as I know, only one of the chests, only one of the regular chests in a realm can be a mimic. Like, in the Arachnid lair specifically, you can spawn extra mimics via the those cocoons, but typically only one of the normal chests. We're shelled. Enemies are vulnerable. That's good, I guess. It could have been better, but that's fine. But out of the normal chests that spawn in a realm, as far as I've seen, you won't see more than one of them be a mimic. Okay. one of the realm properties is enemies cast additional times. That's actually working against them because being cursed means that's gonna damage them. So it's one of those rare cases of something that's ostensibly a disadvantage for us actually turning out to help us because of the anti-synergy it creates for the enemy. Okay. 0 wandering enemies, so we can freely walk around without fear that we'll be ambushed. And let's go down here. The realm quest, by the way, portal cleansed, that means going into one of these things, which will take us to a little offshoot area where we'll have to fight a mini boss. But I don't want to fight the mini boss before doing everything else I possibly can, including fighting the master and getting the rest of my buffs. Splashing is not a great buff. Silenced is a good debuff to put on the enemies. Are there any big sections that we haven't seen? Not that I can see. So let's do things in this order. Let's first interact with this. Ooh, it's put bomb on the enemies. Ooh, and one of our goals was to find one of those guys, so we've completed that, and that also completes these lines, which means when we turn in our rune, it'll be even more profitable. Ooh, there's also this to interact with. In fact, let's do it. So there are a few objects in the game in a few different realms that work like this. Basically, when you interact with them, the object will fly to some other part of the realm and it'll spawn 2 enemies. And it'll do this 3 times. Oh, they are having a bad time. The bombs are really messing them up. And because they're going first, that means they're going to kill themselves before we even get a chance to damage them. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, this is such a... We really, really got lucky with that debuff. Anyway, let's find where that broom disappeared to. It's in this part of the map now. Is this the last time? No, it's run away one more time. And now where has it gone? There. Okay. Fight this enemy. Yeah, oof. I actually feel bad for these guys. I actually feel sorry for them. They really had some awful RNG. Yep. They're not even... They're supposed to be going... Okay. Finally, one of them survived because of... Okay, now this is getting a little annoying. One of them survived because they have a chance to resurrect. And he has resurrected several times in a row, despite us having a 75% chance to shut down resurrections, and him ostensibly only having a 50% chance. So, that's kind of crazy. Okay, so we did that to get an extra bit of favor, which did put us into the next favor rank. Fantastic. Now, let's fight the master. This is going to be a bit tougher. You know what? First of all, let's fight these nemesis creatures. Despite being nemesis enemies, that bomb debuff was a bit too much for them. But I think these guys are going to give us a bit more of a challenge. Yeah. They're taking damage, but they're not one-shotting themselves. But they didn't last much longer than that. Once again, our Animatus attacked before his turn. And all the time I've spent playing this game, I've never figured out why that happened. Because usually I rely on battle history to tell me why something is happening. And if something is happening because of a trait or some other thing, it'll list that in brackets. For example, if you look at the bottom, it tells you they're taking all that damage because of overkill specifically. But if we look at the line where our Animatus is attacking, all it says is our Animatus attacks. It doesn't tell us why he's doing that. I mean, I'm glad we made short work of that master, but I wish I knew why that was happening. That master of Seraphs. Alright, now let's go into this portal and let's hope we can do a good job of it. Okay, this could be rough, but maybe corpse explosions are gonna... Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a challenge for us. Unless the bombs take them out. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Okay, we need to provoke. We can't because the realm is preventing us from provoking manually. With that in mind, what should we do? Arbitration? They don't have any buffs. Definitely got to cast something. How about just Archangel's Blessing? See, they couldn't attack any of us because we were all invisible. And that punch is going to be enough to take the rest of them out. What do we have here? Nothing. Well, some stuff, but none of the rare items that we're looking for. Same with that. We leave. We've beaten the realm quest, but we're not quite done just yet. There's some other optional combats to get into. Excuse me. Which, now that we're done with all of the important things in the realm, we might as well do. And I think now we're back into easy combats where the enemies are just going to kill themselves because of the unfortunate suicide pact. Ooh, that could have been a nice thing to get before the... You know what? Let's do it this way. We've gotten this bonus, so with that bonus, let's go into the other mini-boss fight, which we don't have to do. The realm quest was only to do one of them, but might as well, you know, you get some decent loot from this stuff. Yeah, the health bonus that these bosses get is what's preventing them from one-shotting themselves. Okay. And once again, what's in the left chest? Nothing. Right chest? Nothing. But we've already found a card, right? That's more than enough. I'm happy. Anything else we get is a bonus. Yep. Another fight that's a complete formality. Another one of those objects where we get a bit of favor with the god in question. Ooh, so I guess you can... based on which object you interact with, you can decide whether you want... You can pick a fight that is going to be difficult, and you can decide whether you want to cast extra times or attack extra times. I think casting extra times is what helps us the most, because our Animatus is already attacking a lot, and our Centaur, our secondary attacker, is attacking 3 times. So casting is probably what makes the most difference. Like, in this realm it's trivial just because we got so lucky with the realm, with the debuffs in particular, and with the enemies not having any great realm bonuses. A lot of attack, but no good way to channel that into damage against us, despite the fact that they're going first. What a sad day for them. And I said in the last realm that I like to use the divination candle But I like to do it in situations where we're killing the enemies quickly. I think this is a perfect opportunity to do some divination candle fights. And the way I do them is I like to pick just an enemy, and I think the way I'm doing it right now is I'm going from the bottom of the list upwards. And the icon that you see to the right of some of these enemies is telling us that we found the card for that creature. So we found it for this Yeti, for this Yeti, for this Firebrand, for this Golem. We haven't found the Treasure Golem card yet. I think there is a Treasure Golem card, but the problem is you can't summon Treasure Golems. You have to encounter them in other ways. So we're skipping that for now, and we're going to the Wildfire Efreet. And we're gonna summon 20 of them. And now we're just gonna walk around fighting them. And hopefully all of the fights are gonna go like this. Yep. Like, it's such a joy when this happens. Usually I hate it when enemies go first because of, like, when enemies have a huge speed bonus, which all but guarantees that all of them will go before your party. Usually that's a huge disadvantage, but in this case, because they all have bombs and because we have corpse explosions, this means that they are going to be dying instantly. Like, it's just gonna set up a chain reaction of exploding death. Oh, I love this so much. What a beautiful thing. Even if we don't find the card, I'm like, honestly, I'm tempted to summon another 20 of them. Just because, how often will it happen? Now, the more you summon enemies at the Divination Candle, the more expensive it gets, so eventually you will be paying a whole lot of power, but we've got a bit of power. Excuse me. We've got a bit of power built up, so I'm strongly considering it. Strongly considering summoning. You know what? I think we will do it. We're gonna summon another 20. Are we gonna summon another 20 after that? Or would that be excessive? Like, we're killing them so quickly. I think you've got to take these opportunities when they come up. Yes, we're spending a bit of extra power to summon more of them, but think of it as an investment. We've already killed 13 of them. I tell you what. We'll summon 2 extra rounds of 20 of these guys, killing 60 of them total, and then we'll call it a day. We've just got to. Like, this is just too good of an opportunity to pass up. We might go literally hundreds of rounds without having this kind of luck. Okay. Let's keep going, and if we're extra lucky, we might even find, like, one of these guys might even drop their card. We've already found 1 card in this realm. Can we make it 2? And along the way, of course, we're getting other resources. We're also getting experience, which is boosting our stats a little bit, and, you know, making these realms easier. Well, easier than they already are. Like, some of them will be difficult. It really depends less on your level and more on the realm instability properties. Alright, let's do another 20. And now it's getting pretty expensive. But like I said, this is an investment. When you get this kind of a layout, and I strongly recommend anyone playing this game to do it as well, if you're ever in a situation like this where enemies are dying so easily, you would be a fool not to spend a bit of power just to take advantage of that. Yeah, see, this is... this is, just so cathartic. Like, I'm sitting here remembering all of the times, including the realm we just did before this one, where enemies have been such a slog to kill, and then sometimes you have a run like this. What a treat. And now I'm thinking, like, I've got to give... Like, usually I wait until I watch the footage back, and then I think of what title to give the episode, but for this one, I feel like it's gotta be something about this. This is just too fun of a thing, like these chain reaction explosions. Like, they're exploding, and then we're exploding their corpses. Those corpses are exploding the other people, and then it just carries on. Yeah, I'll have to think of a title that somehow incorporates that. But this is just... Like, I also realize it might not be the most gripping viewing, because we're not actually fighting these enemies. I mean, we're not doing anything to them, we're just entering combat and they are dying before anything else can happen. But, I don't know, I feel like even watching it at some level, at least you can appreciate just how remarkable it is to get a set of realm properties that helps you out in this way. And trust me when I say it, it is very rare to have things go this well. Very rare indeed. And if I was playing by myself, I would even be tempted to carry on killing more of them, but I would draw the line at a certain point. I think if I was playing by myself, I'd go all the way, I'd summon 100 of them. The last 3 of this batch are here, and we'll do one more batch. And then I will call it a day. I'm not gonna do 100 of these guys, I know that would be a bit much. A bit much. Going. And, like, the more I summon of them, like, the more the power cost would then start actually becoming significant. See, like, we're paying 9 plus 10 plus 11, that's 30,000 power for the... well, 42,000 power for the privilege of fighting 20 more groups. I don't want to be, you know, too fast and loose with my resource expenditure. But at the same time, I mean, this is just... like, you've got to trust me, it's just... It feels too good. I'll be so sad when we have to leave this realm and say goodbye to this wonderful collection of properties. But I mean, everything has to end eventually, right? So, like, hopefully one of these drops their card. Because that's the main reason I'm doing this as well. Farming for cards. You can also farm for creature skins this way. But if given a choice, I'd prefer cards over skins. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take a skin. Those are also rare and notable finds, but cards would definitely be my preference. Oh god, what a thing of beauty. That bomb debuff just... that's what's making this work. The bomb debuff, plus corpse explosion, plus the fact that their high speed means they all go first. So they're all dying. Like, we don't even have to skip our turn. That's how easy they're making it for us. Okay, let's wrap this up. We took 60 stabs at trying to get this card. We didn't get it. But, you know, we tried. Well, there are 7 more of them. We might still get it, but, you know, chances are low at this point. But, you know, we tried. We definitely tried. And we'll keep trying. We'll get the card some other time. We'll just find the last 5 of these enemies and kill them and call it a day. Alright, yeah, we're going past an hour now, so I think we're past the point where we're summoning more of these is viable, and I need to do other things as well. So we will be wrapping up after this group. Or is there one more? There's one more. In the same area as where one of them was hiding in one of the previous rounds. Okay. Okay, we took 60 attempts. We didn't find it. It's okay. It's okay. It's you gotta play the long game in this game for sure. You just gotta give yourself a chance, and eventually you will get the thing. It might not happen right away. In this case it didn't, but we definitely had a good time while it was going on. And we also came close to finishing our prophecies. Here's what I'm going to do. We're not far from finishing our hunt mission, right? Yeah. So another 2 realms we'll complete the hunt mission, and if by then we haven't found a treasure golem, I'll just hand in this rune as is, and then we'll get a fresh one. And when we get a fresh one, then I'll explain the Rune of Prophecies more in depth. But for now, I think it's time to bring things to a close. This was another great episode. It's been a great start to the series. We've been lucky in several ways. We've beaten every single master we've come across. We've beaten everything we've come across. We haven't been wiped, although technically when I forfeited in the Amalgam Gardens, technically the game considers that a party wipe. It takes away your fortune. But I'm not gonna count that. I mean, come on. That was self-inflicted. The game hasn't earned a party wipe against us yet. Let's put it that way. And we've basically full cleared every realm we've gone to, which is fantastic. And for our troubles, we've found 2 cards on camera. And as a bonus, we had that really awesome combination that we just saw with the enemies just blowing themselves up. And that was just I'm going to remember that one for a long time. But yes, that is going to be all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Next episode is going to be another special one. We're going to be fighting our first nether boss of the series. That's going to be... Ooh, I'm looking forward to it with a mixture of excitement and dread, which is the way it should be in video games. But yes, that's going to be a good episode, and I hope to see you in that one. So until then, take care.